guys, it has been way too long since I have done a video. So I wanted to hop on tonight, and I actually had a completely different plan for what I wanted to talk about until about 2 minutes ago, and said, you know what? I want to talk about how homeschooling can truly be stress-free. And kind of the misconception behind that, because it's like anything in life is stressful. And of course, being with your kids extra is stressful. And, you know, being a mom is a stressful job, let alone homeschooling your kids and spending extra time with them and, you know, constantly having to meet their needs, because most of us were raised expecting that we would have our kids, have them home for a couple years, and then ship them off to school. I had zero plans of homeschooling my kids. My son was maybe 4 when we made the decision that we would homeschool, and that was only because of legislation that was going through our state at the time that we were like, oh, this is not happening. We're going to homeschool our kids. So it was nothing I ever had planned. I totally knocked homeschoolers my entire life, and now here I am running a homeschooling business. Like, what on earth, right? Total God thing that he put stuff in our path and we don't see it coming, right? So I actually am doing an interview with a friend on Monday, and I'll be posting information about that on Facebook so you guys can look for it and, you know, have it all planned so you guys can listen to it, because it's for a podcast, which is exciting. Never done a podcast before. But one of the questions that she asked because she sent me a list of questions beforehand, and when she wanted to talk about how can homeschooling really be stress-free, because I have my course, 4 Weeks to a Stress-Free Homeschool, up on my website, and I'll put that down in the description when we're all done. But it got me thinking, because I have this whole course surrounding stress-free homeschool, and I truly do believe that homeschooling can be stress-free, and here's why. So much else in life is stressful. Being a mom is stressful like crazy, right? I mean, we're growing these tiny humans, we're raising these tiny humans. It is stressful to be a mom. I suffer from anxiety, and it's gotten better over the years because I've learned how to cope with it and everything, but it's hard. It is stressful. It is, you know, it brings anxiety raising our children. But I think that the stress has nothing to do with homeschooling and has everything to do with just being a parent, period. So with there being stressors in life that you don't have a choice over, right? We have to work, whether it's us working or just our spouse working, which can bring stress because living on a single income can be stressful. We have to work. Work is stressful. We have to raise our children in some way, shape, or form, right? Even if we do choose to send them to school during the day, we are still raising them when they are home. Raising kids is stressful. There's financial stresses. We just put my van in the shop right now. So now we have one vehicle until my van is fixed. Stressful, right? So if everything around in life is stressful, I can control the stress in our homeschool, because we have the choice in homeschooling what we're adding into it and what we're not allowing to be adding into it. So I have the choice to change our methods. And we've gone through all different methods while homeschooling. We started out very traditional, like that we were trying to mimic school at home. That caused stress for us. So I've slowly changed our methods over time as I've learned about different methods, and that has reduced stress significantly in our homeschool. Now, oh my gosh, our title of what method we would be completely ridiculous, because it's very much so relaxed, eclectic, with a Charlotte Mason flair and road schooling and a bunch of stuff put together. But that's what fits our home and our homeschool. That may not be what fits for you. You may need a different method that works for your family, but that's important to find out. Find out what that method is that resonates with you and with your family and with your kids, and that's going to reduce stress. because we have that choice in homeschooling to say, this method is not working for me, so we're not going to do it. I am very much so known to switch curriculum 3 weeks into the school year, almost every year, because it just so happens that I end up finding that amazing resource a few weeks into the school year, and I'm like, that's going to work better for us. That is going to reduce stress in our lives, so we're switching. And it's okay. It's okay to ditch your homeschool plan. It is okay to ditch your curriculum that you thought was going to be amazing for you, and it just turned out it wasn't. But it's going to reduce stress by doing those things. And I know I've even been worried financially, which is kind of funny. I was going to talk about homeschool budgeting, and then I went on my website and saw that I already did a video about that. So you guys can go check that out. But it's something that I was worried about before, was like, but I bought this curriculum, so I need to use it, because that is a stress, right? Financial stress. I spent $100 or whatever on this curriculum. I need to use it. Resale that sucker. A lot of curriculum, especially if it's not written in, keeps its value really, 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 really well. And then you don't have to worry about it. There was one curriculum we tried, again, this was like a 3 weeks into it kind of thing, that we purchased it and it was not working at all. And it was to where we had workbooks, but it was also like video instruction. And so I contacted the company and said, look, this isn't working. What am I allowed to return? Am I allowed to return the video instruction? How does that work? I think I had spent like over $200 on this. I think I was out like 40 bucks because they refunded me the rest of it because it was not working. So all I did was contact the company and said, look, I don't want to do this video instruction anymore. We are not going to use these books. I think it was just the consumables that I kept. And so it was $40 worth of materials that I kept. And we ended up using the materials because it worked for us to use the workbooks on our own level and at our own pace compared to the pace the company was expecting us to do. And so that was a total win for our homeschool. I just contacted them and said, hey, look, this isn't working. And they're like, awesome, refund. We don't want you to use this if it's not working for you. So, reselling that curriculum that's not working, or contacting the curriculum company, because I know there's a lot of curriculum companies out there. All About Learning Press is one. If you purchase directly from them, I think they give you like a year that they're like, if this is not working, we don't want you to use it. We want you to be satisfied. So please return the materials to us. And I love that. And it does reduce that stress. So use what's going to work for you to reduce that stress. And find what method that's going to work for you to reduce that stress. And something else that we've done that has really, really worked for us is we've switched to a year-round schedule for the most part. We take a lot of breaks, but I've chosen curriculum that allows us to take a lot of breaks. We do a lot of educational stuff outside of the home, so that allows us to feel like we're taking breaks, even though we're only taking breaks from our books. We're learning stuff through road schooling or field trips or whatever you want to call it. So we're able to take those breaks. So when we're feeling burnt out, we can take a break. We don't have to necessarily do school that day. School, meaning bookwork. Because, even when we're taking days off, we're learning. And that's something else, too, is to recognize when you're taking those days off, but yet you're baking. And you went on a nature walk, or you went to the beach. And you read these books, and then you sit there and you realize, we didn't school that day. We didn't actually take a break. We took a break from our books, from our actual curriculum. And those days can be so much needed, but a lot of times it can still be counted towards school, especially in those states where you have to take attendance and have to have record of what you've done. Write that stuff down in your planner and say, this is what we did for school that day. Because it doesn't have to come from a licensed curriculum company in order to say, yes, we did school that day. It can come in the form of baking or in nature walks or in reading books or whatever it is. Documentaries, right? Watching YouTube. All of it can be counted as school for that day. And so recognizing that and knowing we can take these days off reduced that stress. And it made it to where homeschools become so much less stressful. There are days that we hit the books hard and we are doing fantastic and we're on a roll and we're getting it done. And then there's days where it's not so much. I know this week we've only done 2 days of school, and I'm already planning on taking a day off tomorrow to go strawberry picking, which very much so counts as school, and to shop at a farmer's market because I want to talk to my kids about, you know, the kind of life we're living right now. You can't necessarily find what you need in the stores. And so it's important for them to see local farmers markets and to see where this local produce is coming from, and not necessarily something that's being shipped in from states away or maybe even countries away. This is stuff that's all grown here locally. Lesson, right? They're gonna learn from that. And who knows, if they're, you know, super excited about the strawberry fields, we can totally open up a book and talk about pollination and talk about the life cycle of a plant or whatever. And that, you know, not to like, I was going to talk about my curriculum. I'm not going to try to make this about my curriculum, but that's what Rabbit Trails is all about. And that's why I made Rabbit Trails, is because we can read the books, real literature, and then go back and be like, this totally has to do with a life cycle of a plant. Let's talk about that. Rabbit trail, rabbit trail, rabbit trail. And then all of a sudden we're learning about all this other really, really cool stuff. So, you know, it doesn't, even though this is technically in a curriculum, I almost designed it to be not curriculum-like because that's how we homeschool. That we get the books that are about something that's totally unrelated to life cycle of a plant. Because I think the book that I have that through is Blueberries for Sal. So she's blueberry picking. Blueberries are plants. Life cycle of a plant, like it just rabbit trails into those topics. And that is how a lot of beautiful homeschooling moments can happen. It's just letting those natural rabbit trails happen. We're reading about this, somewhat related to this. Let's turn it into a science lesson. Let's turn it into a history lesson. And just being able to have the freedom to do that as homeschoolers. So that kind of circles me back to, can homeschooling be stress-free? Yes. Homeschooling can absolutely be stress-free, because we have the freedom to choose and to adjust it to meet our needs. There are so many stressors outside of homeschooling that we don't have a choice over, that why are we going to add that one extra thing to our plate? We have that freedom as homeschoolers to do that, to make sure that our schooling side of things is stress-free. Yes, the toddler's still going to throw a tantrum while you're doing school. You may still have a struggling reader or writer. You may have a kiddo who's not doing a good day. You may not be having a good day. That's the hardest time, right? Is when we're throwing the tantrum and we just don't want, you know, we're just not having a good day. We don't want to do whatever school was on our list to do that day. All of those things are going to happen and we cannot control them, but we can control how we handle it and how we handle it specifically in our homeschool. And that's my favorite part of homeschooling, is that homeschooling gives us the freedom to teach our kids in the way that is best for us, even if it's best for us that hour or best for us that day. Adjust it how it's needed. You know, there's some days where we double up on math because we are killing it at math. And then we may not touch that math again for a week. And that is okay, you know, and obviously we get through those struggles. And it's not like we're just going to completely throw math out the window forever because we're struggling with the topic of it. But I've noticed sometime with my oldest, his brain's just turning to mush. We need to take a break from this because your brain is mush and you're making silly mistakes because you're not allowing yourself to think. Take that break. Step away, eat a snack, go on a walk, whatever. And then I've always found when we come back to it, all of a sudden they can think again. Their brain is no longer mush and they're able to be problem solve truly, especially in math, and get it done. So I just want to encourage you guys that homeschooling can be stress-free. And I know especially now for those of you who maybe are doing school at home, which is so much different than homeschooling, or those of you who are choosing to homeschool now because of the whole having to school at home and you're like, I think this may work for us, to just encourage you that they look so different because we don't have a teacher who's saying do this, 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 and this and turn it in by the end of the day or by tomorrow or whatever it is. We have the freedom to pick and choose, and we have the freedom to make our own schedule, and we have the freedom to say this curriculum's not working, we're throwing it away. And you don't have that when you're doing school at home. So I know there's so many friends of mine, they're like, I don't know how you do it. this is how we do it. That, you know, we have the ability to make it stress-free, and we have the ability to deal with the natural stressors in life and mold homeschooling to however we need it to be for that moment. So anyway, so I am gonna head off of here, but I do, really quick, since I'm talking about stress-free homeschooling, I want to offer you guys a discount on my 4 weeks to a stress-free homeschool course. It covers all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna put the link down below for you guys so that you can take a really close look at it to see what's all in it. But it is set up to be for 4 weeks, but it is self-paced. So if you want to take it all in one day, you can take it all in one day. If you want to take longer than 4 weeks to get through it, awesome. But it's set up all self-paced now, but it talks about how to start a homeschool. It talks about the difference between school at home and homeschooling, different homeschooling methods, homeschool planning. I have to go through my list because there's so much that I don't ever even remember what all I put in it. Talking about homeschooling multiple kids and different age kids. And it talks about a bajillion different types of curriculum. Guys, I spent hours making videos on curriculum to go inside of this course so you can see inside of it, so that hopefully you can get a better idea before you buy if it's going to be a better fit for you or not. Because that, again, is going to reduce that stress as opposed to being stressed out going, is this going to work? I'm about to drop all this money on this curriculum. So math, reading, science, language arts. I need to update my rabbit trails video about it because I was still making the curriculum and it's not accurate, but it does give you a glimpse into rabbit trails. History, extras like Bible curriculum, art, typing, there's so much inside of it. So I want to offer you guys 20% off of my 4 weeks to a stress-free homeschool course. Today's Tuesday, so I'll run it through next Tuesday, which is May 19th, 2020. So it'll be good for a whole week. So I'm about to hop on there and make my coupon code. Let's make it stress-free20 will be the coupon code, stress-free20, so you guys can get 20% off of that course. So anyone who's been homeschooling for a couple of years and is like, dude, I'm still feeling stressed, this is the course for you. If you are just starting your homeschool journey, this is absolutely the course for you. If you see my list of different curriculum that I have listed that I go over, and you're wanting to see inside some of those, this is absolutely the course for you. If you're just wanting that little bit of encouragement, this is the course for you. So I'll have that down below, and I will put the coupon down below so that you guys can see that as well. But I just really hope that the course blesses you, because it was a lot to make all of those videos, and I put a lot into it because I want to make homeschooling stress-free. I don't want it to be something else that you're adding to your plate. I want it to be something that's blessing you and blessing your family. So that is it for tonight. I'm so glad I hopped on and made this though, and I will talk to you guys later. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments and I'll be sure to respond to them. See you guys later.